people come up to you, they're starstruck. Like I don't anymore just because of this job, but like I'm a different person because of this job and I talk to people all day. But I did probably back in the day. Like, where are you? I mean, granted, mind you, there are plenty of people I would be starstruck by if they walked in the door. But like, where's your relationship to that? Like, you were born in LA. Like, do you get starstruck by people when you meet
I
them?
mean, not only born in LA, I went to Westlake School for Girls, where Norman and Charlotte discovered me, right? And it was a poo-poo platter of who I went to school with, of famous kids, and their parents were famous. And so that aspect, yes, but I get excited. And I think I get excited the way I think a fan gets excited, where I moved by, someone's work. I have met Annette Bening a few times, but I just saw Annette Bening recently, and I had watched Nyad, and I had no problem walking up to her and just going, "Hi, oh my God, wow, you were gorgeous as Diane Nyad." Like, that was incredible. I get excited to like tell people that they've moved me, um, and that sort of thing. But I have to be honest, I think we're all fans of each other. I think that about actors and rock stars, chefs, anybody who's a creative. I think other creatives tend to be like, "Hey, you move me with what you do, whether it's music or art or film or TV or theater." So I get goosebumps, yes, but it's not like I'm gonna cry and lose my shit, but I do get very excited. Again, though, I'm a huge extrovert, so I tend to be wallpaper. Um, so usually it's someone coming up to me, and I'm always just like so grateful and happy, like, "Oh, I'm so glad you came up to me because I'm kind of obsessed with you," And I then get to say how much of a fan I am.
Have you ever met someone like, like a Annette Bening, but or like a Brad Pitt, or just someone who comes up and they're like, "Excuse me, I just have to tell you, girl, I am such a huge Facts of Life fan." And you're like, "What?" You know what I mean? Either we're like, you're shocked, just someone off brand. Like, listen, I'm like a gay man of a
I
certain age. I'm
well,
on brand for loving the Facts of Life, but just
I
someone
I
off.
have I have to say I'm a little obsessed with fashion. And so some designers have come up to me at times when I'm in New York with um my friend crowd who's kind of in that world. And I've sort of been like, "Huh? Like, me?" When my friend Pierre said something about like, "You're such an icon." I'm like, "That's so hysterical." But like, Pierre reps, little companies like Cartier and Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, oh my God. Um, I'd have to say Barack Obama. That was my favorite. I went to an event, a fundraising event. I'm declaring myself, I guess. Um, Not to be too political, but I went to a fundraiser, and you get your picture took, right? And he was already president. And I went to take my pictures, a line of us, and I guess there were like 200 people at this event. So I walked up and I went, "Oh, hi, it's so nice to meet you." And he goes, "Hi." He goes, "Oh my God." And I couldn't believe Barack Obama knew who I was. So like that freaked me out, I have to say. That was
That's
pretty
a
cool.
that's a pretty good one.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, from my past, it's Lucille Ball. I had a really incredible couple of moments, but my first moment with her was I was at dinner with Cloris, who knew her very well, and she came up and said something very complimentary to me. And she left the table, and I sort of looked at Cloris like, "Okay, I can die now." It's like, I have met my heroes and I've never been disappointed. Let me put it that way.
That's really good. Not everyone can say that.
Yeah. I mean, she obviously, I've known Carol. I went to high school with her daughter, so I've known Carol for a really long time, but same working with Carol, and she doesn't disappoint.
Wow. Speaking of your fabulous friend crowd, Carson Kressley, he's a big fan of the Real Housewives. Like, are you a reality TV fan?
I am. I'm friends with a couple of really good friends with a couple. I mean, Dolores Catania, obviously on my Instagram, there's pictures of her and I. So we're public about it. Um, we've just, we really love each other. We're actually just very good friends. And I've obviously known a lot of the Beverly Hills ladies my whole life, just from living in the area and going to school at Westlake and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm not too crazy. I think I'm starting to age out of it a little bit. I find the women who the shows where they just get drunk and talk and travel are not interesting anymore. I think I'm aging out, dare I say.
Listen, it's also like you think of like, you mentioned a 10-year run for Facts of Life, like the Housewives all together. It's almost 20 years here. Like it's
Well,
okay
and
to
it's
age
also
out.
just it's a different kind of show now, right? They're all there to self-promote. They're unabashedly about making money and selling a brand and becoming a brand. And so they're it's not really what it started out to be. Yeah,
Did you and Dolores meet at that disco in Buffalo? Is that where you guys originally met?
we met before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know
But
you
we
guys are
both did that
friends.
because of her. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I knew you were both at that disco. I was supposed to be at that disco. It's just that's
You
affiliated, I
were?
guess. Yeah.
I have to tell you, the couple that runs it is so amazing. We were treated so well. It was really, really a fun weekend. And Margaret was there that weekend too.
She was.
Margaret,
Yeah. And I have a friend that lives in Buffalo who's like, no, this is a huge thing for us. Like I didn't realize it was such a big thing, this
oh,
disco.
it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
I have to go one year.
You do, you do.
Did you watch, I guess your sister, your castmate Kim Fields when she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Of course I had to. She called it. We talked. So I mean, she said I'm doing this, and I was sort of like, I had a clutch my pearls moment, like, don't. Um, but I have to say, I admire Kim so much for her hustle. She went on that show for very specific reasons. Both of those reasons occurred. It was, she's so smart, in my opinion. She got from that show what she wanted. And it was, get back on television, series television, get those million followers, graduate into that social media era. And she's just done it seamlessly and with class. And she just knows what she's doing. I don't know how else to say it. She always has. It comes from her mom. It also just comes from her smarts and savvy and her business acumen. She's just, I mean, Nancy and I both taught. We sort of just like, bow to the hustle. And I mean that in the most darling way. I mean that it's such a compliment. She just knows how to do it, and I don't. And so I really admire her.
It did really, reinvigorate her career. I mean, she was working, but I mean, it got her back onto like prime time stuff.
Yes, and she went on specifically knowing there's an audience there. Social media at the time was, I don't want to say brand new, but newish. And that whole sense of getting over 1 million followers, and she did it. And she did it without losing herself. And she went in for a season and she went out. And I'm like, yep.
That is the